Oh, hey everyone, look, it's the man himself, John Haidt.
Hi, I'm John Haidt. I just wanted to say, hi.
Welcome to the Shadowlands launch party. I've gotta say, John Haidt, I was playing on my shaman the other day, and I realized that I'm totally done with Shadowlands not being out yet. So, we're all super stoked that you've finally given us a release date.
Hey, no problem. When John Haidt is ready to release, he'll always tell you about it first. Whoa, what the hell is this?
Oh, it's a banner we had made to help us celebrate.
John Haidt can see that, but what is this date written on it?
It's the release date of the expansion, November 23rd, 2020.
Josh, John Haidt decided that the release date was going to be on November the 23rd, but John Haidt never said anything about the year.
John?
You should take this banner down very quickly.
Sounds good. Makes sense.
Knowledge is power.
Hello, Internet. Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset, Taliesin Evitel's wondrous wisdom show in a week where, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Shadowlands release date. And I know you've doubtless already heard that, but just let me do this, okay? Because it's a WoW News show, it's kind of my job. John Haidt put out an official post on Battle.net, and November the 23rd, 16 years to the day that World of Warcraft itself first went live to the public, is the day that we will finally be able to play this expansion in all its delayed glory. A date which, there are some issues with that date, and we'll talk about those issues, don't you worry. The main bulk of the pre-patch is coming on November the 10th, that being the Scourge invasions, which, despite the delay, is still managing to arrive 3 whole weeks before WoW Classic Scourge invasions, so that's totally a win. Go Shadowlands! The elites and repeatables in Icecrown to get your catch-up gear, the 2 weeks worth of pretty short, sharp questing, and an event featuring Nathanos Blightcaller, which I'm not going to spoil here, although it wouldn't matter if I did, because Blizz accidentally put it into the live game last week, before presumably shitting bricks after people noticed it and taking it right back out again. And also it wouldn't matter if I did, because Blizzard kind of spoil it themselves in the new story trailer that they put out alongside the release date announcement, which shows, among other things, multiple clips from an in-game cinematic clearly featuring Nathanos having a bit of a Barney.
Is this the best you can do?
And frankly, giving it some pretty big talk for a man with only 4 arrows left in his quiver. That story trailer is awesome, by the way, and exactly the kind of thing that I needed to build my hype up again after these last weeks of no one knowing what was going on. Giving us glimpses at some stuff that we'd already seen, like the Dark Abduction cinematic, which has been on World of Warcraft's YouTube channel for a while now, but also other in-game cinematics, which, again, I won't spoil here by putting into any more context than Blizzard presents them in this trailer, even though if you've leveled through the beta at all, then it's pretty obvious where they all come and what part of the story they're telling. Like the badass opening narration from Sylvanas in all her new more armor. I mean, she's been wearing more armor since Legion when Blizz started protecting her belly button, but now she's wearing more armor, proving that she must have been working with a jailer for some time because she's already maxed out her Covenant Renown for the epic Transmog. And the thing I really like about this shot of Sylvanas here, as she tells us that through the jailer, control of our fate will at last be possible, is how chill she looks. Like, I'm not even being funny here, our girl looks genuinely happy and hopeful, like she's found her people, and I think that's great. That's really nice. It's a shame we're gonna have to kill her and all her people. And speaking of her people, we also not only get what I'm pretty sure is our first snippet of the jailer's actual voice here, which is like surprisingly gentle and soothing. Ha, only joking. No, he sounds like they hired him from definitely epicbaddievoices.com, forced him to eat gravel glass stew, and then used up most of California's supply of reverse reverb, making him sound extra definitely bad. Basically, I approve. And to really hammer the point home, he's also apparently only allowed to say lines from the bumper book of Definitely Bad Guys Evil Things to Say book for kids, too.
There is nowhere to hide. Death comes for you all.
The jailer, definitely not chill. Here's hoping he never makes it to chapter 2 entitled We Are Not So Different, You and I. Although, I have to admit, I did laugh a little bit when he says,
Nothing escapes the law.
because, I mean, spoiler I guess, but that is literally the first thing millions of players will be doing within 20 minutes of this game going live. But like I say, it's not just the voice, we also get our first look at the jailer in one of these pre-rendered cinematics too, looking exactly like I think we all imagined him, and by that I mean seen from below as if he's stepping on us. Likewise, my queen, the Winter Queen, likewise, Tyrande looking badass, and also, suddenly I know what I'm getting her for Christmas now too, that's a win-win. Then there's just generally a bunch of quick-fire shots of exciting Covenant-specific story goodness going down, and Anduin being like really super serious and sad for a change, and basically, and I know I'm an easy mark, but I'm in. I'm sold. Colour me excited and raring to go for the global launch on the 23rd when I will be ready to no-life this shit. For a bit anyway, because that's an 11 PM release in the UK, and I get tired pretty early these days, what with the baby and the crippling nihilistic despair about the state of the world. So then I'll have a little sleep, and then I'll be ready to no-life it for reals though on the 24th. Hardcore. We know now that the WoW Anniversary event, which awards an experience buff, has been moved to now, to be over by the time that the expansion starts proper, and Ian has confirmed over Twitter that there will be no reset in that first week of release. So there's no pressure for players to rush to level 60 in the first day to maximise the amount of Renown and Soul Ash, currencies which have a weekly limit that they can get. Instead, being able to focus on really taking in that leveling experience, the story, those new cinematics, and seriously, like maybe even finally deciding on which Covenant you're going to join, because it's really time now, okay? So, a lot of the potential problems which could have sprouted from the delayed release have been ironed out. The date itself, November the 23rd, 24th in the EU, is the one that we identified ourselves on this show as being the most likely. Isn't that right past me? There's November the 24th as a candidate, and I think that probably is the most likely. I totally agree. There still remains the question of whether the delay will actually turn out to have been worth all of this hassle, which I'll leave for Evitel to look at in a moment, because there is another, much more obvious and immediate problem that this release date poses, and which hasn't really been ironed out like the others. It's a problem I'm going to let past me run by you again, mostly because I like how young and fresh and hopeful he looks. With Mythic Nathria opening December the 15th, which, and I know Blizz say they never design these things with the race to world first in mind, and I'm sure the race would be over by then anyway, but it sounds a bit white knuckle close to the edge to me, that one. Man, those were the days. But it turns out you were wrong on this one past me, because actually, the community really reacted positively to the news, especially on the forums, where honestly, it was just a huge sense of relief to have a solid schedule at all, and any concerns about holiday commitments interfering with raid progress were totally outweighed by a compassionate understanding for the unprecedented pressures that Blizzard have been working under to get this expansion into our grateful hands and ready to know it was a shit show. Obviously. Honestly, this is bullshit. Thanks so much for ruining Mythic Raiders' holiday plans. Absolute joke of a company. Releasing Mythic the week before Christmas. Well, I guess it'll be a Jewish team winning world first then. Man, I hope so. But no, it turns out past me was right after all, the smug dick. And a November the 23rd release date means, as predicted, a December the 8th start for Shadowlands Season 1. That being when Castle Nathria opens on normal and heroic difficulty, with PTR and Mythic difficulties opening, as usual, the week after, on the 15th, bringing with it 3 separate problems. 1. Teams competing in the Mythic race to World First will have all of 9 days and 1 reset to defeat this instance if they don't want to be progressing on Christmas Day, a timing which clearly isn't ideal for anyone. And yes, you really would expect the World First of the first raid of an expansion to be down by then, but it dicks up the people going for second and third and top 10, and it's still just pretty antisocial for the hardcore pros, especially considering that this game is releasing over Thanksgiving in the first place. I consider this to be the least important problem overall though, because, well, firstly, what's Thanksgiving? But also because, for the most part, these are professional players. They make their living out of playing the game, and the race to World First is where they make some of their biggest bucks. So yeah, it sucks that anyone has to work over the holidays, I get that, but it's sadly not unusual, and as someone who has worked in retail and service and the theatre. I've not only done it every year for the last 15 years, but I did it in heels. Cry me a river. 2, and this is a much bigger problem, it's generally just a massive ball ache for any Mythic progression team. Or you know what? Even a heroic or normal progression team, because those things absolutely do exist. Raiding is one of the biggest draws of World of Warcraft. A huge amount of people rate it as their favourite activity and will be looking forward to getting their teams back together and tackling this new instance. Take my own guild, Immortalis, as a prime example. We only raid heroic twice a week, but we take it seriously and we value it as the activity that mostly keeps the core of our guild together. Furthermore, we haven't had a new raid to look forward to since January this year, so understandably, we are champing at the bit to get going in Castle Nathria. And it sucks that we get to do that for 2 weeks before inevitably the holidays mean that we essentially won't be able to raid again properly until the new year. It's immensely frustrating, anticlimactic, and frankly, bit of a buzzkill. Never mind the fact that it leaves the way open for our bitter rivals in the world first for guilds with a name a bit like Immortalis race, largely recognised by academics as the real world first race. Because, as everyone knows, all the other teams in that race, apart from us, are literally devil worshippers. So, you know, they don't mind raiding over the holiday. Allegedly. That's what I heard. It's just what people are saying. So yeah, I think it's wrong to say that awkward raid scheduling is something that will only affect the most hardcore players, or even just Mythic raiders. It's going to be a massive inconvenience for anyone who enjoys raiding with their friends regularly, no matter what level they like to do it at. And Blizzard know that. They've said before that they will always try to avoid scheduling new raids on those timeframes for that exact reason. Something that another Ian tweet recently acknowledged, but said that basically with a delay at this stage, there's regrettably no other choice, which is fair. I kind of agree with him, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. And anyway, that is not even the biggest potential problem, which is 3. Will there actually be enough Blizzard staff on hand to sort out the problems which will inevitably arise whenever a new raid goes live? Exhibit A. Do you remember when Limit were progressing N'Zoth? And it turned out there was a mechanic not working properly, which meant that Blizzard had to literally shut down the raid worldwide on all difficulties before Limit could kill the boss so they could fix it. Can you imagine the amount of devs that were involved in that mad scramble to save the legitimacy of the race? And then can you imagine how many of them would not be available if something similar were to happen on the 25th? Or the 24th of December, when, quite rightly, they will be off work and enjoying the festive season with whatever family the Blood Plague and California being almost totally on fire now will allow them. There's a boss in this raid where you have to do a dance routine together. There's a boss in this raid where the floor gets destroyed and the whole raid drops down to the next level. Multiple times. So it's not like there's nothing in Nathria that could feasibly go wrong, you know? And I don't want Blizzard devs to work over the holidays. They've had as shitty a year as any of us, and they deserve at least as much time off as Bob Cratchit, but still, any sacrifice that players do decide to make to be raiding over that time is going to feel even worse if they encounter bugs and exploits that can't be fixed in decent time. Basically, it feels like there's just a lot of potential for a lose-lose situation going on here. So, do I think Ian was wrong not to delay the raid itself until, say, the new year? That's the thing, isn't it? Because of the delay, you can't really win. And I think on balance, I probably do agree with the decision to keep the established and planned raid release schedule. I think that's probably better than 2 separate delays in Shadowlands before you're even out of the first patch. And anyway, I'm sure that worst case scenario that I've just described won't come true in anything like the exact detail that I've just described it. I'm sure it'll be fine. But since the delay is to blame for all of this mess, the other question really is, was that delay worth it?
It's a good question. How much better will Shadowlands be thanks to that extra month wait? It's worth remembering that the reason for the wait in the first place wasn't because of any grand redesigns or changes of direction, but just to finish up tuning and polishing rough edges that, for whatever reason, the original planned release wouldn't have allowed. And it's fair to say that, polish-wise at least, it does feel like Blizz have been busy. Recently, we've seen Talie's issue with the Renown UI cleared up and reworked to show every reward at every level, rather than just vague highlights. New items to buy from Venari to spice up Maw gameplay, little finickety things like fish feasts not working past level 50, likewise non-Shadowlands drums, the Heart of Azeroth now being obtained at level 50 instead of 10, so players can't use it to level through like warlords or something, the amount of soul ash you need for a rank 1 legendary changed so that you can no longer craft a rank 1 legendary in week 1 of Shadowlands. A change which went down exactly as you'd imagine.
Anything and everything to slow us down, sigh. What a weird and pointless change. Oh joy, taking longer to get regular, legendary, reg gear.
Except it's worth noting that if Wowhead's numbers are correct, and there's a link in the article in the description of course, so you can check for yourself, then you can still craft a rank 2 legendary in week 2. A rank 3 legendary in week 3, and a rank 4 in week 4. So, it seems like this change is purely to stop players from crafting a legendary in the first week of the expansion. Or indeed, from heading into the first week of Heroic Nathria with 2 legendaries to choose from, which I think it's hard to complain too much about. I'm gonna be pretty busy in that first week anyway. It's cool. We've also seen the much talked about flipping of the soulbind trees, so that what were generally considered to be the most desirable traits on each path are now placed right at the beginning of the process rather than at the end. A change which represents the biggest single redesign of a central progression system that the delay has given us, and one which the majority of the player base genuinely seems to think is pretty neat. So cool! Let's move on before we remember that unlocking the most desirable trait first is also how Azurite armor worked too. I'm joking, there are loads more reasons to be progressing your Renown levels beyond unlocking Soulbind Rose, as you can see from the new reworked Covenant Renown UI.
That's a nice UI.
I'm glad you like it. So I'm not trying to say it'll be like Azurite armor. It's okay. You can breathe. It's fine. As for tuning, well, it's better? Things certainly seem a lot closer in power to each other than they were when the delay was announced, for sure. Major outliers have been reined in or buffed up, and yeah, it's better. There's still a few weeks to go, right? So yeah, you'd have to say that it's been a good few weeks on the beta overall, and things are coming together. The only ones who really know what's going on are the devs themselves, of course. And if they think it'll be ready for the 23rd, then I guess we have to assume it will be. What is ready and in the game right now is the newly scheduled, so as not to clash with Shadowlands leveling, World of Warcraft anniversary event. WoW celebrates being old enough to get married, drive a moped, and drink alcohol with a meal with a 16% leveling buff and reputation buff. I mean, it says 16% on the tooltip, but at the time of writing, it's only actually giving players 15% for quests. And on the day it went live, we lost the 100% impressive influence buff that we'd had for the last couple of months, as planned. But shh, we don't need to talk about that. There's the return of the Korrak's Revenge Battleground, which doesn't provide the super efficient leveling experience that it did last year, so, you know, you'll just have to do it for fun. Sorry. Or for the high-res mounts, which are available again this year. Classic world bosses to kill for time-warped badges, and a new cloak to spend those time-warped badges on, which, if you like blue, you know, I think you're really gonna like it. If you're a fan of blue, then this cloak is right up your street is all I'm saying, because it's a blue cloak. Actually, best of all in my opinion is that all the fun stuff from last year's 15th anniversary is back in the Caverns of Time. Not the cool, cueable legacy boss instances, but the stuff you did while you waited for those instances to pop. So such unique and one-time activities as, in Blizzard's own Blue Post words, you can slash dance. Yep, it's been a big job getting Shadowlands ready, and honestly, we didn't have the time to do anything special, so we are genuinely selling that you can go to the Caverns of Time and slash dance as an event. And honestly, I kind of respect that. Plus, there's Khadgar football, and that's good enough for me. Everyone loves Khadgar football, except maybe Khadgar.
Evitel, you're here!
Hi.
This is such a special treat!
Been here all along.
Well, we haven't done an episode in 2 weeks,
No,
and
we
also
haven't.
you weren't in the last episode, so it feels like it's been a month basically since you've been sitting on this sofa where we're sitting right
Yeah.
now. So we need to catch up. What are you thinking for Shadowlands now? Have you had like a rethink on your covenant or on
No.
your class
No.
or on your spec?
No, I'm playing a hunter. I'm sticking with my night elf. I've given her some really, really cool customizations.
We haven't seen you since the customizations. Tell me about it.
Oh my god, she's just, I mean, she's the same. She's just got like leaves in her hair.
You didn't go for, like,
Leaves in
the super shaggy hair?
Yes, no, shaggy hair, hair because the little ponytail bounces in the back when you run, and you know.
Everyone loves that shaggy hair.
Oh my god, it's
all
so
I
good.
see in game right now is shaggy-haired night elves or sombra night elves.
I'm still going Bastion. I think I'm gonna go marksmanship.
Okay, cool.
Just want to switch it up.
Yeah.
I played that back in Legion. I really missed it.
You missed it mostly though because you couldn't transmog the
Yes.
the
the
quiver at the back.
the
But you
quiver.
can now, even if you're beast mastery. So
I know.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
You can
matter.
Be free. Play whichever class you want.
will.
You're not hampered by the quiver. And you know, people have been complaining that we haven't had an episode in the last couple of weeks and stuff. And you know, we did have some good jokes written and what have you. The episodes didn't happen. But in fairness, well, we've been in like this weird limbo of not knowing when the game's coming out.
Yeah.
And so news that trickles out is kind of like, you know, it's fine, it's worth talking about and stuff, but it lacks like any context of like when the game's actually happening. And it just felt really weird to be kind of talking about WoW. So I've just been logging in. I've been like leveling characters through the new leveling and stuff on stream, like working on the class guide videos, which are definitely coming out now.
Definitely coming out now.
Like so happy with all the work on those, and just like hugging my boy and stuff, and like it's been really good.
Are you gonna be ready for the 23rd?
That's relative and it depends. So there's a few things that need to be ready for the 23rd. One, you need to have got all our videos out, which is probably going to happen. Two, we need to have built our new PCs.
That's definitely going to happen.
So I've got a 3090 over there, and on the 5th of November, which will be a couple of days after this video goes live, instead of going out and having great fun fireworks parties, because I can't anyway because of the blood plague lockdown, I need to be trying to get myself a new AMD like processor, right, to go into this new computer. And once I get that, I can build it, and once I do that, I can give you this one after making a few alterations to it, because you don't like the water cooling, so I'm putting
hate the water cooling.
So I'm putting,
I hate it.
because you're a Philistine.
No.
Look at it. You're hypnotized by it right now. It's so great.
But it is such a risk. Like it just takes all of my risk assessment boxes.
If you
it's like,
say
no,
so.
No,
well, I'm
no,
putting a big
no.
fan in it for you instead.
Thank you.
And also just making sure I have enough snacks and like wine and energy. I feel like I should buy like some energy drinks.
Yep.
Or at least lots of salami, because nothing gives me energy like salami, okay? So I can be sitting here on the 23rd. I'm not going to be streaming it on the 23rd, like I say, because it's 11 p.m. launch, but I'll get up early on the 24th and I'll stream then, and we'll blitz it, and we'll do as much as we can bear.
Wait.
It'll be fantastic. Salami, wine, wow, wife. Oh, it's going to be so good.
Yeah. I'll be watching the stream as I do everything the baby needs.
Yeah, and you know what baby really needs?
Yeah.
A mum with a level 60 character.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, you...
He's just like, Mummy!
Mummy, don't fall behind on Renown. All the other children will make fun of me.
Yeah.
Mummy, why aren't you Max Renown like all my friends' mummies are? Don't be giving our kid no non-Max Renown parent.
No,
Okay?
never. Can't do
That's
that.
so important.
I won't let you down,
baby.
baby.
He needs every chance in life, and for that we need Max Renown. I don't want him logging in one day and not having all of his soulbind rows unlocked. I don't want him going into school and all the other kids have like their epic transmogs and we don't, because we didn't grind enough Renown. Can you imagine how upset our child would be?
This is the legacy we are leaving.
We
our
are not
baby.
those. We are going to be good parents.
We are leaving our accounts.
Don't you worry. If you ever go back watching our old videos, Anirin, as God is my witness, I swear, for you, my son, I swear, I will not fall behind on Renown, on my main at least.
Well done, Daddy.
Love it when you call me that. We are streaming every day as well, most of the days, so join us on the stream too. But thank you for joining us now. If you have enjoyed this video, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make all of our videos happen. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Jinsey. Or Proper Bird, whatever you like.
Are you coming back, Jinsey?
She said she might. Maybe she didn't say that, and maybe I just inferred that and basically tried to bully her into coming back anyway, which is the same sort of thing.
Come back.
No, my name is Taliesin from me.
And me, Evitel.
And Anirin too. Until next time, cheerio.